Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to the Pixelnauts Twitch channel. Today we're going to be playing Rocket Rumble, our new early access game. It's available on Steam. It's a party racing brawler game. And yeah, we're just going to be playing on the live build today. So if any of you guys are out there that have the game and want to come and play with us, you're more than welcome to come and try to beat Vince. And
Try.
yeah, you can try. And yeah, we'll just be chatting and playing. And if you're interested in the game or like what you're seeing and you want to try it out, there is also a demo available. So you guys can find the game on Steam. There should be a link to it down in our About section. And yeah, go try out the game if you think it looks interesting. And yeah, I'm just going to jump into a race here if you guys are ready and want to queue up with me.
I think there's a texture that's broken or something in the market when you buy something. There's like a black square behind.
Oh, really?
Behind the UI on like a 45-degree angle or something.
Here, let me look.
Yeah, just buy something and then you'll see like there's like a black.
Oh, yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't never redone this screen. I should just quickly give it a once-over to match the rest of the UI.
It's not a big deal. I just wasn't sure if that was. It doesn't look like it's on purpose.
No, it wasn't. It was supposed to be something else behind there. I don't even remember anymore. But yeah, I got the pinwheel hat now.
Yeah, that's what I'd like to.
Oh, and I love the star patterns too. I'm gonna grab that too.
I'm only in the game with Vince.
No, you're not.
Not
Oh
anymore.
shit. Okay, I'm gonna queue now.
Steam is still opening. My computer's like having a meltdown. Twitch started playing, like I had a Chrome tab open with Twitch and then I had a Facebook tab open and all of the things started playing at once.
Oh god.
Um,
Your
so I don't know
computer's just like,
anything that
no.
happened the last like minute and a half of your conversation.
Oh, nothing important. We were just
Yeah.
talking
And
about a broken texture in the shop.
Hmm.
Hey,
And now
Nita.
Steam is like broken.
Currently working, but you'll be lurking? Cool. Isn't there a word for that? There's like some word for work lurking on Twitch, and I can't
A
remember what
working
it
lurk?
is.
I think
Maybe
you're
that's
right.
what it is. There's some phrase for it for sure. It
Does
might be
it work with a U?
that. Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would make sense. Like
Work.
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 Doing work.
the-
Working.
It's the Canadian version of work. It's work. We're working down here. Getting some work done, eh?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I definitely talk with that Canadian accent, like not thick, but I notice, like especially when I say stuff like, "I'm gonna go get the car," like I do like the car thing. Those like super long enunciated R's.
I find I make like the OA sound when it should be like an OU sound. Like, you know, it should be like house, but I say like house.
Yeah. My cousin moved to Australia a couple years ago, and like she came back to visit, and like her accent was like half Australian, half Canadian.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's weird.
It's really weird. It doesn't like you do lose your accent if you move and live around people with a different accent.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean,
it's like a slow transition.
I feel like that's like you just start talking like the people you talk to, regardless. Like even if it's just slang that like a certain, you know, group of people use or whatever, or your friends have like some words they like to use, you'll start using them just by virtue of hanging around them and talking with them. So I definitely see the accent thing.
Oh, living in Newfoundland just like destroyed how I talk. Just ruined it.
Hurt in a car, call William Matar. 444-4444.
Sponsored.
What a phone number.
I know. Well, do you guys remember like Celino and Barnes?
Yeah.
So they used to have
The
that.
injury attorneys.
Yeah, they used to have that jingle that was like, Salino and Barnes, injury attorneys, call 854-2020. I still remember the number, but then they changed the number to 888-8888, and it just sounds so stupid.
Amazing.
Like, the original number was more memorable, I feel. Now they're singing it, and it's like 888-8888.
Just like the
So they didn't
CDC
change
thing.
the song.
That's so dumb. Yeah, anyway, I guess we have a question of the day, which I'm still thinking about, but it's what was it? Your favorite thing that you learned in post education, school, college?
Forgot that was that question.
It is a hard one. What
I
about
have
you,
no
Ben?
idea.
Do you have an answer yet, Ben?
I don't know. I don't think I learned anything.
I know.
No.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay, so I do have a good answer to it. It's kind of a boring answer, but like in university, I took a class called Inquiry, and it was kind of a we had to write an essay. That was the whole point of the class, but it was like a research project throughout the term, and we got to pick whatever we wanted as the research project. And the point of the class was to teach us how to research and how to learn and how to ask questions. And I think that was probably the most valuable thing I ever learned in post-secondary. Because it wasn't about the content, it was about the process to
So how do you research?
you just want to check your sources, go to the library. It's just about the whole process. Right?
Sounds like a horrible class.
That's what, like...
I love stuff like
Okay,
that.
so-
That's what school's all about.
But it was funny because like everyone hated that class, but like I thought I was researching. I did my thing on an art piece because I was in art at the time, and like I had to like request materials from like other universities and stuff through the library, and it was a really fun experience, and like just learning how to look stuff up and like. Making sure that sources are reliable, and I think it was really important.
I wrote an essay in we had to take like that English class in first year of college, and they had some of that kind of stuff too. And yeah, I actually do enjoy that kind of stuff too. Like I got a 98 in that essay writing class, like overall. I don't know why I find it interesting, or for some reason too. I don't know why exactly, but
I think it's just like I like learning. I think new stuff just because of that class.
well, it's nice to be able to like write an essay where you have an argument that you believe in, and then actually backing it up with like real research and stuff is kind of a fun experience.
Yeah, I think that's.
I think I liked writing essays about stuff I didn't believe in.
That's an even better challenge, probably. Like trying to prove yourself wrong.
Yeah, because like you already know what arguments you'd make like against a thing, so like how do you argue for it?
Yeah, that's true. Well, I think
Yeah, it's
a lot
more
of
it's more of like a technical challenge.
Yeah.
Like
I
the
think that's
best
part of
paper.
Hold on, sorry.
What were you saying?
Oh, no. You go ahead. I forgot what I was saying.
I was just to say the like the best paper I ever wrote was something I like definitely don't believe in, but it was like arguing how like amazing sweatshops are for just everybody.
Well, I think that's the point of being a good researcher is you have to kind of keep a neutral stance on things, even if you're like writing something where you have an opinion. Like, you can't stretch the truth, right?
No, you got to show both sides. Yeah, definitely.
And like I hate a lot of media does that. I hate that, but I don't know. That was a really boring answer, but like that was probably
It's a good one.
the most memorable thing I can remember. Like I learned a lot in like the almost decade of school I took, but I think I probably didn't remember it. I don't know if I retained any of it.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like, I feel like the biggest thing that I learned going to college is just like learning like my own work habits and stuff, and like how to best organize my time. And also for me personally, I think one of the biggest things I didn't really realize before college but kind of learned is that I'm really good at like public speaking or like presenting ideas, or you know, like I think I was a pretty good as like the project lead for my group, because I could take all of our like ideas and present them in a way that sounded I don't know, sounded compelling for whoever we were presenting it to and stuff like that. And I didn't really realize that I had that talent before college, that I can remember anyway. Like, I never was very good at speeches or any of that kind of stuff, but it was because I wasn't interested in any of that stuff. So it just like took something I was actually passionate about to realize that, I guess. Not any actual, like, you know, curriculum stuff, but just kind of figuring out things about what I'm good at and what I'm not good at is probably my biggest takeaway from college in general. What about you, Angie?
I mean, I'm still like maybe no better for it, but I think maybe the best class I ever took was like it was a public speaking course. Funny that you mentioned that, because I've always been shit at public speaking, like talking in front of crowds, like, you know, any of that is hard for me. But it like forced me. It is a weird thing. And I have this like issue where I just like will not practice a thing like at home because I don't want to like hear myself talk, which is like, you know, what you need to do to be an effective public speaker.
Yeah.
But anyway, it did help like a good bit.
I
Being
think,
like forced to talk to groups of people.
I think it's easier in person too. Like, I mean, you can practice lots, but I feel like a big part of it is like you have to kind of gauge the audience reaction to what you're saying and kind of tailor your talking points towards what they're more interested in sometimes.
See, that's like next level stuff. That would have been like third year. I never got that far.
I was always bad at public speaking or presenting stuff because I didn't ever do homework, so I never actually knew what I was supposed to say, so I just was horrible at it.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what made me nervous the most, and I'm also like bad at reading, so if I don't know what I'm supposed to say and I can't read the sheet, it's like this is not going to go well, but I'm not going to do anything to make it better.
It's one of those things where like they always tell you that you gotta have as little information as possible on your, like, usually when I present something, I don't have any like written material to go off most of the time, because the more written material you have, the more likely you are to follow it, and the more boring you'll end up being a lot of the time, I think.
Oh, there's nothing worse than somebody like reading word for word like a PowerPoint or something.
Yeah.
I think too, if you can kind of wing it and like talk about stuff, it makes you seem more knowledgeable too. Because again, you're not reading from something.
Well, realistically, if you can do that, you probably are more knowledgeable.
Yeah, you know what you're talking about.
Or you're really good at bullshitting.
Yeah, fair.
One thing an old friend of mine said, that as long as you can sound like you know what you're talking about, like, people will believe you. Which
Yeah.
is probably terrible advice, but it's true.
It's probably true, yeah.
Yeah.
For the most part, most people would probably fall for it anyway.
Yeah. But yeah. I don't know. What about you, Vince? What?
The most useful thing was probably like just take criticism and feedback well, because they're not like, no one's trying to offend you, they're trying to make the thing better. Like when I was at Brock, just taking art classes, it was always good because every time you had something due, we would basically just do a crit. So we'd go around the class and everyone would show off their stuff, and everyone would just say like what they liked about it or didn't like about it. And I mean, generally my stuff wasn't hated. There was some students who like the teachers would just go off and just be like, "This doesn't even." I remember this one student. I guess I won't say their name, but they drew like a stable or something, and they had horses in like a barn or whatever it was. And the teacher was just like, "Is that what you think a horse looks like?" Like she just like
Oh,
was
Jesus.
just making fun of how bad the horses were. She's like, "This is so bad. It doesn't even look like a horse." But it's just like, I don't know, stuff like that is like, if someone says it like brutal like that, I understand why you'd be offended, but at the same time, it's just so that you know. Now you need to find out what a horse looks like.
It is difficult too. Like, I think that's like always a difficult thing, taking that kind of criticism, even if it's brutal. But it's like you say, like,
I
you
like
gotta
it.
know if it's brutal, because in the real world, nobody's gonna be like, "Oh, it's good enough." You know, like that's
Yeah.
never gonna happen. So
Yeah,
you gotta learn how to take it.
You have to
Or-
like detach yourself from the work, right?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
And kind of look at it with like an outside perspective.
but the thing is, it's like they're not trying to offend you. Maybe sometimes some people were, but if they're just saying it looks good, they're just lying. If it doesn't look good,
yeah,
and then
you-
you're just never gonna get better.
Yeah,
If you
you
find
don't-
out what's wrong with it, then you'll fix it.
Mm-hmm. Asking friends and stuff is like the worst thing.
I know.
Yeah,
you don't need like
can be
positive reinforcement.
I mean, sometimes maybe you do, like if you know,
Well,
if
yes,
that helps. I
Yeah,
guess,
yeah.
But
I mean, if it is like good or whatever, like if it's warranted, but if it's like not up to snuff and people are just giving you positive reinforcement to make you feel better about it, that doesn't help anybody.
I used to teach karate. We had this technique where when we were giving like critiques on technique and stuff, we would say something good. It was like the kids, so like I guess this could be
Yeah.
everyone, but say something good. Say your critique on how they can be better, and then finish off with something else that's good.
The other thing too is I think like
Yeah.
in our case, like if we're critiquing stuff that each other are doing, we all work together on the same project and stuff, like it's for the good of you
Yeah.
and the project and
the
everything
project.
else. It's like, you know, the only reason it's being criticized or, you know, needs to be better is because we want the whole thing to be better. It's all
Mhm,
like
it also
working
reflects on,
towards
like,
the
all of
same
us.
goal. Yeah.
definitely. I always try to give feedback when you guys post stuff. I hope it doesn't hurt your feelings.
No, it's
No.
great. I love.
I
your
don't
feedback.
have any feelings.
I love your
That's-
feedback because it's so detailed, and it's like,
Sometimes it can be, but like sometimes I don't know either. Like it's like, oh, it feels kind of weird, but I don't know why. And then maybe someone else will know why.
That's fair to say though, even like if
Yeah.
it just doesn't feel right, yeah.
Or sometimes like it'll be someone else's work, and someone else will post something, and I'll be like, oh yeah, why didn't I think of that?
It's usually pretty easy to tell when someone's like being purposely like over the top critical of stuff anyway.
Yeah.
Like if they're just doing it to try to like get, I don't know, get at you or something. I don't know, but
Get a reaction.
it's usually like pretty obvious when it's like
But I
that.
think
But
at that point, it's not about the work. It's about like probably about like hurting the other person. I don't know how else best to say that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it can be a little overboard, I guess, too, but like sometimes we get feedback on Rocket Rumble, or like when we had like our first betas and we got like, you know, 3 pages of feedback from Mike and stuff like that. Like it can be helpful to a point, but sometimes it's a little like over the top.
At that point, we were super early in production, though. So it's like, yeah, we're
Yeah.
going to address a lot of that stuff. That it's not really kind of the point at this
I mean,
point in
same
time.
time though.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're getting critiques like that, where it's stuff that you're planning on changing, I mean, that's probably a good sign. that
Yeah.
That's true too,
you're
Oh,
in
yeah.
the right direction.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're getting critiques like, oh, you should do this, and it's like something you plan to do, then obviously you're on the right track.
Mhm.
If
In my
that-
mind, another bit of feedback never goes astray.
Yeah, for sure. I love feedback.
Audio feedback. 10 minutes left.
Also, we got some good ideas from the betas from different players.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how we determined the whole health system was kind of vital to our game.
Oh yeah, because the one health was just too
Totally.
much.
Yeah.
Totally changed the entire game.
I
It's
think
a
it
lot more
really-
fun now.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
better.
Well, that's the.
Definitely.
I think it-
I think it's true of any game. Like, obviously, the creative process of it, like, you can plan it until you're blue in the face, but it's going to change as you start prototyping it or start letting people play it. It's going to change even more. Like, it's never going to. You got to chase the fun of the, the idea,
Mhm.
what people are enjoying, and all that stuff. Like our first talks about this game were crazy. It was like we had all these ideas for touch screen controls for all the items and all that stuff because it was going to be on that other console and stuff like that.
We can't talk about that, but yeah.
Like that stuff seemed so important at the time, but it's got like nothing to do with the game. You know what I mean?
It definitely, I think the game would be a lot different if, like, we hadn't started out that way. You know?
Yeah.
Maybe for the
sure.
better, maybe for the worse, but
The core mechanics wouldn't exist.
exactly.
Like
yeah.
being on one screen was
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
true.
dependent on that.
That's what makes the game unique too. Like,
Yeah.
most other kart racers, and I mean, it's not a problem for everybody, but a lot of them have if you got somebody that's a lot better, they're going to be so far ahead of you on the track that you can't really engage with them. But I think that's one of the more unique things about our game is that you always have a chance to, mess
Yeah.
with somebody because you're on the same screen. So even when Vince is beating me by 110 points, I could still try to body check him into an obstacle or something like that,
Gang up on him.
We tied Vince.
We tied. That's
Ugh.
cool. Very rare.
Yeah, that
And
is
get
super
better.
rare.
Ben's pretty good.
I just been playing this game way too much.
Yeah, you definitely play way more than I do.
I've played it too much though, where I play it absent-mindedly. I don't really pay attention enough
Yeah.
when I'm playing it. A lot of the time, I'm focused on what I'm talking about or something like that.
I feel like when I'm playing, I'm always looking for bugs or problems or
That's a good
Something.
mindset to have for sure.
I guess so, but it kind of takes you out of the experience a little bit.
Yeah,
You got to be playing it to play to really enjoy
that's one of the biggest problems about knowing about just being a game developer and knowing what's going on behind the curtain is that you get critical of games that you're just trying to sit down and enjoy, and it takes something
every
really
game.
well crafted to actually sit down and get immersed in it and forget that you know how it was all made. It's weird.
it. Yeah, every time you find a bug in another game, you're like, why didn't they do it this way?
Yeah. It definitely ruins the magic of games a little bit, but at the same time, it makes the highs even higher because you're wow, this is just incredible. So much work went into this,
Oh, I definitely have an appreciation for how much work goes into anything.
Mhm. It's always
Yeah,
more
it's
than-
insane. Oh my god, yeah, always.
Not just for games, for I'd say almost anything.
Yeah. Anything. Literally anything. Like packaging a toy. It's probably insane.
Yeah, well, you
I
got to
think-
design all the packaging and all that shit. It's
I
crazy.
think
Make
in
the
States,
plastic
you get a
fit.
you get a master's degree on that sort of stuff. It's there's apparently enough schooling to warrant that.
Well, my one friend went to school to become a writer, and he ended up going into technical writing, and so basically his whole job is he's like a manager now of this branch of this company where they write manuals for stupid people. Like they write product manuals and they have to like brainstorm all the things to include, like don't put this in your mouth, don't stick this in a socket and touch it, and like, you know what I mean? Like they write the manual, but they also have to include like all the information so the company selling the product doesn't get sued from people doing stupid stuff and then being like, oh, it wasn't in the manual, so I did it anyway.
Yeah.
Like you don't even think about that stuff when you buy a product, but like somebody spent hours and hours coming up with all that stuff.
And I bet they got paid damn good money to do it.
Oh yeah, yeah they do. They get paid well. It just seems like such a mundane thing, but you know, from the outside. And I think it's similar with games. Like a lot of people that don't really know how games are made just kind of, I mean, obviously they don't understand, so they just kind of think it's like, oh, you just click and drag all this stuff. It's like all the people that went into, you know, the college course that we took being like, oh, this is going to be easy.
Yeah.
Nothing's easy. I feel like nothing worth doing is easy.
Yeah, that's
Or
a
it just
good,
takes time. Like it's not necessarily difficult, but it's just going to take a while.
Well, I don't know. I get some of the mindset everything's easy when you know how.
It might be easy, but it's not simple, I guess is probably a better way to...
yeah, that's a good way to put it.
I mean, it's also sometimes not easy either, but... Oh, yeah. Asteroid Field.
Didn't we just play on Asteroid Field? I can't even remember.
I
Yeah.
think so, yeah. Yeah, we did.
Got to add some new levels.
Yeah. They're in the works.
Asteroid Field has the most variations, though, so it's like super
Yeah.
different every
That's
time.
true.
Kind of interesting to see the evolution of levels. Like Asteroid Field was our first, and like,
Whoa, everyone's big.
Yeah, what
Who
just-
used it?
I think 2 people got no larger.
Oh.
That's crazy.
I
They
had one.
must have used it
Did
at like the
anyone else have
exact same time
Yeah.
because it'll disappear if they. It would have to have been at both
Well,
at the same time.
Yeah, they're depending on the amount of lag there is, that could happen.
That's true.
So if we press it at the exact same time within that window where like it's really uncertain who did what, then it's possible both happen.
Even that shit is crazy. The networking side of everything. Like I was trying
Yeah.
to explain to my
The
friend the other
craziest.
day, like how it works, and it's like, it seems when you're trying to explain it in layman's terms, it seems so like obtuse and stupid.
Yeah.
How you're
It
like
is stupid.
faking the data on everybody else's
It's
computers.
so
and-
stupid.
yeah, it is.
Well, it's really, I found it fascinating that like just the amount of lag that is actually like normal, and the amount of like in AAA games they do a lot of things to hide it.
Yeah, I mean they do
People-
so
people
much.
don't know that- Yeah.
They do so much estimation and stuff, but how are you ever gonna know that? Like,
And the estimation is usually pretty accurate. That's the thing. It's not always accurate, but like, just the sheer amount of like delay there is like it's not much, but it's enough. It's noticeable, and like, yeah, just all the different like basically smoke and mirrors that networking guys have to do.
it's just one of those things where like,
Interesting, yeah.
you know, we made our game and before we had networking and it's like, oh yeah, we'll just add online to it, and you don't really think about like how much is involved with that. It's like crazy.
Yeah.
Still probably the best decision we made.
Oh Yeah,
Definitely.
definitely.
Imagine having to play this over Parsec or whatever still, like just for testing purposes, would be so
remember.
gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, especially like doing a couch co-op game on Steam, it's never gonna happen either. Like it has to have online, and even on console, it's like not that likely to happen anymore these days.
I have some couch co-op games on Steam, but they all cost like less than $6.
And how much do they get played? I wonder. Like how.
Oh, like once, just the one time to
Yeah.
play them, if I played them at all.
On console, it's definitely more prevalent, but
For sure.
even so, like with COVID and stuff, like you're not having your friends over to play games on the TV. You know, like we do some couch co-op in my house because of the kids. That's the only reason.
Hmm.
In the day when before online play too, like couch co-op was the only option. But...
They see games so differently too. The kids, like most of them, other than Tristan, who's the oldest, just kind of think like if a game doesn't have some kind of multiplayer, they don't even care about it. Like if they can't play it with their friends, then it's boring immediately, like without even trying the game. They just have like a way different view on what games are, I think, you know. But Tristan was like that for a while, but then I got him into playing like Luigi's Mansion and Mario Odyssey, and now he's like discovering single player games and how great they can be for the first time kind of thing.
But do you think that's like an exception to the rule? Like because he got that from you?
Yeah, I don't really know. It might just be that he's
Yeah.
getting older and like he can sit down and enjoy a story and stuff more than he used to be able to. But yeah, I'm not really sure. It's because like, you know, some of the first games that the kids played is like Minecraft and Roblox and stuff, and those are, you know, big multiplayer games, so it's like that's
To be
just what
fair,
they
most of the games I played were multiplayer when I first started gaming. It was like
Yeah, that's-
Super Mario World, Mario Kart, like those kind of games.
That is kind of true. Like even when I was a kid, even if we were playing single player games, we would make them multiplayer. Like
Yeah,
just
you
like
take
after
turns and
like
stuff.
when you die, it's my turn or whatever. So
First
there is
single
like
player game I had was Home Alone 2.
wow.
Yeah.
I remember that one. You showed that one off.
But I think it is like a just I don't know, almost inherently multiplayer space when you're a kid.
Yeah, well, you have friends and you want to play with them, or brothers and sisters and you want to play with them, but as you get older, you're, you know, in general becoming more like interested in spending time by yourself, so single player games appeal to you more as you get older, I think.
It might be a technological thing too. Like when we were kids, we didn't have the internet.
Yeah,
That's true.
They have
It's
more
definitely part of
options.
it,
They have
but
more- yeah, they have more options and more definitely more games too these days.
Thank God.
Way more games, way more like multiplayer options like
Yeah.
in general. Like when I was growing up, we had like 4 games for our Super Nintendo, and it was like maybe 1 or 2 of them were multiplayer, but it's if you're playing a single player game, you got to share with your brother, like you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Also too, when we were kids, the internet was kind of like this big scary place. So like I know a lot
And
of
you
parents-
couldn't make a phone call if you were on the internet, so your
Yeah,
time
I
on the
know.
internet was
Mhm.
limited too.
Plus, sometimes they were charged like by the hour.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
It is
Isn't it?
crazy.
I think it's just a cultural thing, really, and it's kind of
There's a lot of variables.
Yeah. Yeah, I just hope that single player games are not gonna like die or something. I don't think they will.
I don't think that they are. I just think it's like, you know.
They can die after I die. How about that? Like I don't want to. I love single player games.
Well, I feel like it's a different beast entirely. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, if I want to sit down and play a game story and stuff, I'm not doing it as a multiplayer game. And even multiplayer games that are like that have a good story and stuff, I would still rather play it by myself because other people like ruin my immersion and shit like that. But if you're sitting down to play a multiplayer game, usually it's designed with that in mind. Like, it doesn't really have a story and stuff most of the time, unless it's just like a 2-player co-op or something.
Yeah. Did that character select work for everybody? Just fine? No bugs?
Mine kind of lagged.
It was a little
Like-
slow at the beginning, yeah.
Yeah, you guys came in a little late. That's why I was asking. But like, everybody had selected a character when it progressed.
Yeah.
Or... Okay.
Yeah, I think I was the
That's
last
right.
one to choose.
I purposely tried to pick my character before you guys came in, so because there's supposed to be code that like if you miss out before you like join the room, it'll like catch you up. But it wasn't working like a little while ago. Anyway. Yeah, I think it's just with the internet. There's just more access to games for multiplayer.
Well, yeah, 100%. I don't know. Single-player games are like a cinematic experience. Like, they're not really... Most of the time, anyway, they're not really meant to be experienced as, like, a group thing.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, you sit down to play, like, a new Sony game like Last of Us or God of War or a Nintendo game, most of the single-player Nintendo games like Zelda or something, you're not really... Like, that's a solo experience for the most part. You might talk about it with your friends, but you're not going to all sit down on the couch and play it together, really.
I think further evidence of that is like I think those games are marketed towards our generation, like our older people though.
They are. Yeah.
Because yeah.
Like Zelda and Metroid and even something like Luigi's Mansion or like the big, you know, Mario adventure games that are single player, they all seem to be targeted at a more like mature audience than a lot of the other Nintendo stuff is.
Yeah. And like some of the new Nintendo IPs like Splatoon and stuff, like I have like really no interest in them.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of the younger
I love the character designs and stuff, but
I do too.
I have no interest in the game though.
I think
I don't even
it's
understand the
cool.
game.
Yeah, I don't either. It's like
Do you
a
shoot
shooting
each
game.
other or not?
I think so.
I don't know if you do. You just shoot the ground and you can traverse through the like. I don't really know. I could be totally wrong.
I think you can still shoot each other, because I think if you get hit by enemy ink, you get damaged or something, and then you can die. But yeah, I don't know. It's about like painting the stage, but painting the stage also like gives you the advantage against the enemy team. So I don't really know how it works. But
Like I think you can paint the stage and you can only traverse inside your color of ink.
Yeah. But are you
It's a
killing
cool
each other?
mechanic.
I don't really know what to
I
do.
think you are. I think you are.
I'm pretty
I
sure
saw
you
some
shoot other
videos
players.
on the phone.
Hmm.
Yeah. But like I have no interest in playing a game like that. But I love the art style.
I mean, I don't really have an interest in multiplayer shooters in general, and Splatoon is like Nintendo's take on a multiplayer shooter, so it makes sense that I wouldn't really be interested in it.
I mean, I love Halo, but Halo is also a game from when I was a kid. So
I love the first Halo
yeah,
a lot.
I haven't played the new one though. So
Yeah, I haven't played the
You
new
guys
one
talking
either.
about Beyonce?
Beyonce. Yeah, I love the Halo song. You know, you have stuff like, what's that game, It Takes Two? That's like a good example of like a multiplayer story focused game, but I feel like in the majority of situations you want to play that game with like a friend that you know. You're not just going to like play it with some random person online for most people. I wouldn't think so.
You
think
even
that's
played online? I thought it was only
I don't know.
local. Maybe
It might
not.
only
You
be
can play it
local.
online. You can play it online.
But I think that's part of the difference is like multiplayer games where you're playing with people you don't know versus, you know, co-op ones where you'd be playing with somebody that you know and kind of experiencing it together.
Have any of you guys played that game?
I think
I have
Angie
not.
said she did.
I did, yeah. Well, I haven't finished it yet, but
Who
it's
did you
super
play
good.
it with?
Oh, my boyfriend.
Yeah, Alyssa played it with.
See,
her
that
sister.
sounds like fun. Playing it with somebody that you like know really well seems like fun to me. But I wouldn't want to play it with a random online person, really.
No. Oh, it's definitely about the like fun together.
Mm-hmm. But I have no problem shooting random people in an online game or whatever, or beating them
Yeah,
up in
it's
Smash Bros or something, you know.
Glad that was the end of the sentence.
I have no problem shooting people in the head.
Online. Yeah, you're right. And like those types of games, it's like an online arena, right? It's not like a co-op experience. But even if it's like a team battle, like I used to play a lot. Like when Halo Reach came out, I used to play a lot of online with that. And like I would play the big team battles just because they were just fun and chaotic.
Well, if you look at stuff like an MMO, right? Like in these, you have this, you know, content that requires like big groups of people. And how do those people get together? Well, they form a guild, they all get to know each other, they have a Discord server, they all text chat and voice chat and stuff. Like, they want to get to know each other rather than just playing with a bunch of random people, even though it's like more than a few players, but it's still like a cooperative thing.
Yeah. Yeah. There's definitely different, I think, like tiers of it.
Yeah, for sure there is.
I think if the game if you get something meaningful out of cooperating and it's like it lasts, like with a guild, it's like your guild progresses through the dungeons. With like an online Halo match, it's like you play with the people for like one match and then
Yeah.
they might help your team win, but it's not like a huge difference in like.
It's probably like a time investment thing too, right? Like you don't need to get to know the people in a Halo match because, like you said, it only lasts 10 minutes. But you have to get to know the people that you're raiding with because, you know, you play that game with them all the time.
Yep. And I know like WoW. I haven't played WoW in probably a year now, but like I know it has its like looking for group stuff, and like everyone hates it.
Yeah, everybody
I think-
like tags that as being what ruined the game is the fact that you can
Yeah.
just look for random groups to do that big group content stuff.
Yeah.
That's why classic WoW was so big. It's like one of the biggest reasons.
Well, I played Classic WoW for like 4 or 5 months last year, and like I kind of decided that the WoW I used to love is gone. Even if like I'm playing like the actual version of it, like I can't get that same experience.
It's never going to be the same. Everybody knows
Yeah.
about what's in the game and stuff already, so it's never going to be the same. Yeah.
Exactly. Like all the mysteries. Like I used to love exploring the world and like trying to get to places where like I wasn't supposed to be, like Mount Hyjal and like all these areas that they have eventually like revealed, but like there was like a certain mystery to them. And maybe it's now that I'm a game developer, it's like I kind of know what's beyond those boundaries, but
Yeah. There's like whole YouTube channels dedicated to that stuff, like
Yeah.
searching beyond the boundaries of levels and games and stuff. And I'm like, why do people find this interesting? But it's, you know, I'm not the right demographic to watch something like that.
Yeah. What were the devs trying to hide?
Yeah, it's like nothing. It was just some
Probably-
mistakes or some leftover
Yeah.
shit. Like there's no mysteries beyond there.
I think it was Battletoads or something. Or no, but it wasn't Battletoads. It was some game. One of those channels, like, so behind one of the levels, I think was like a copy of one of the Battletoads levels or something, and like they were using it as reference, but like the Out of Bounds guys were like, "What? Why is it here?" And they interviewed the dev, and the dev was like, "Oh shit, that's still there." It's just like there's no like hidden meaning or like they're not trying to, you know, it's not like trying to like, oh, there's gonna be a Battletoads crossover or whatever. It's like,
Yeah, it's just like, well, that's what I mean about how like when you know how games are made, it ruins the magic of it a little bit because you know better about that kind of stuff.
yeah.
Like, did you guys see Free Guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had like some stupid stuff in it like that. Like how there was
I
like a
thought-
world hidden out of bounds and it was like invisible and it was kind of dumb.
I mean, okay, so I did actually enjoy that movie. I thought it was a little better than a lot of video game movies.
It is better than a lot of them, yeah.
Because like it's kind of like excuse of the hidden world thing kind of made sense. Like the devs actually
Yeah.
forgot to remove it. And,
Yeah,
like,
they
I kinda
purchased
laughed
like
at-
or whatever.
Yeah, it was
another
like
company and left their.
left the
level.
world in the
laughed at
game.
that. I laughed at that because like that I could see that actually happening. But like movies like that is like why I think I don't want to talk about NFTs, but like I think movies like that is like what when people say like, oh, we'll mint game assets and bring them into other games. Like I think those pop cultural things like give people's impression that it's like that easy. Like,
Yeah.
in the end of that movie, like he used like Captain America's shield and like I think there was a lightsaber.
Yeah, he uses a lightsaber. That I thought that scene was hilarious. I know
It
a lot
was
of people
funny.
don't like it, but the part where he pulls out Captain America's shield and then Chris Evans is like watching on his phone and he's like, "What the fuck?" I laughed really hard at that the first time I saw it.
Yeah, I thought that was good too. Yeah, I think movies like that really like confuse people's perception of game development, though.
Definitely. I also thought Taika Waititi was hilarious in that movie. He was like the highlight of the movie for me,
Yeah,
playing just
it
like
was
the
it was
biggest
a good
douche.
movie.
He's
It was a good
hilarious.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he plays such a great like just character that you just hate. It was hilarious.
Which is funny because like he's actually I like him, but he's a good actor. He's a good director too.
Amazing, yeah.
Yeah, he is a good director, from what I've seen anyway.
Hmm.
I don't know anything about movies though. I don't pretend to. Like so many people, especially online and stuff, like it's so popular to like analyze film. I just watch a movie and I like it or I don't like it. I have no idea why I like or don't like it, or I don't understand anything about filmmaking.
I think you just turn the camera on and hope for the best. That's all I know.
For me, it's just like, did I enjoy it? Like,
Yeah.
did it suck me in?
Sure.
You know, did I get immersed in it and like forget about reality? You know.
I find like I don't know why I'm like this, but I enjoy a lot of movies, even if other people don't. Maybe I'm just like easy to please, but I don't know.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I'm probably like that too.
I just feel like if some critic says like it's bad, like a lot of people will just say it's bad, and like, their perception of it's like muddled.
I think a lot of people get bogged down in like because every freaking movie they make now is like based on some source material, and that like hurts a lot of stuff. Like, people can't enjoy the movie because they're like a fan of the thing that it's based on, and it didn't do what they wanted it to do, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Not that they're like not justified to not like it. It's just, it's kind of a weird thing.
Yeah.
You know.
I can't think of many like movies that were like original.
Everybody hated The Last Jedi. I actually really liked it when I first saw it. And then they came out with Rise of Skywalker, and I hated how they like they like retconned all the stuff from Last Jedi, and the movie was just like even worse instead of like rolling with the changes. I liked some of the stuff they did in it, but I understand why people don't like it too. But when I first saw it at the theater, I thought it was great. Like, I didn't really care whether, you know.
Yeah, I don't hate that trilogy. Yeah,
Whether
I think
my-
it's fine. It's
Whether
not
my
amazing,
head
but-
canon. No, it's definitely not amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, like they're fine. They're fine. I don't know what people would have expected from Star Wars.
That too. Yeah.
Yeah.
People had their hopes a little too high, I think.
They just needed a new hope.
But people just get so concerned about, like, people are all like, Luke would never do that. He would never do such and such and such and such. And I'm like, why not? Like,
Yeah,
I don't understand why he would never do that exactly.
in 30 years, he can do a lot of things.
Yeah, like, just because he acted a certain way in the past doesn't mean he hasn't, like, lost his faith or changed his mind or made a mistake or whatever. I didn't really understand that argument, so that then when they kind of like retconned all that stuff in the last movie, I found it really disappointing, because it just kind of, I don't know. I thought it was interesting that they were trying to change it all up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Like, people have expectations, and it makes it hard to like judge the movie based on its actual like self-contained merits.
Its own merit. Yeah. Yeah.
And then it actually affects the development of the next movie, which is even
Sure.
worse. Like, it shouldn't
Yeah, that's
affect,
a problem.
you know. Well, everybody complained about this, so we better change it. Like, that should never be happening.
All the Star Wars shows are good though. Like Mandalorian is
true.
awesome.
Yeah, the
The
Mandalorian
Book of
was so
Boba
good.
Fett or whatever is good too.
Oh yeah, I watched the first 2 episodes, and it was good so far. I love
Yeah,
the
it's
whole
good.
like thing with the Tusken Raiders and stuff. Was like
Yeah.
a lot of fun so far.
I think
yeah.
they like the world in the show. I feel like has a good feel to it,
Yeah,
and they focus on like smaller stuff. Obviously, it's a show, but it's good. I liked it. I like it so far.
I just love, like, the Mandalorian really knocked it out of the park. Like, it's
Mandalorian's awesome.
I love that like gritty side of the Star Wars story that doesn't, like, even though it had Jedi stuff in it, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
It was more like
Yeah.
the criminal element and the gritty side of the universe. That is what's really interesting about the
Yeah, Jedi's are
Setting.
not really interesting.
no.
They're cool because
Kinda
they're
boring.
like gods essentially,
Yeah.
but they're not interesting.
The Jedi Code is kind of boring too. It's just like no emotion, and they break it all the time technically. But
All the time.
yeah, but yeah, I think that's much more interesting. Like the whole world of Star Wars.
Yeah, and even the Jedi stuff that they had in it, like they had Ahsoka, but it was so cool because she was like, you know, self-exiled and
Yeah.
I don't know. They just did a really good job with it, even with that stuff. Like the traditional Star Wars elements were still done well, I thought.
Ahsoka is like one of my favorite Star Wars characters.
I haven't even watched the Clone Wars, and I loved that stuff.
I hated
Yeah.
her at the beginning of the Clone Wars. I thought she was annoying and like, oh, they just put her in here for the kids or whatever. But like, she changes, she evolves over the course of all the seasons, and like, when she kind of finally appeared in Mandalorian, it was like I was like so pumped.
She looks great too. Like they picked a perfect
Yeah.
actress and stuff to play the older version of her.
It Rosario Dawson, I think. Or... Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Star Wars is just a great example of like a series where there's so much like fan meddling just because fans are so like passionate about it, have so many opinions about it. That, you know, I wouldn't want to make something in the Star Wars universe. Like, that's the most daunting thing I could ever think of.
Yeah, you're gonna piss off the wrong person, or you can't really, like, you're gonna piss off somebody no matter what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys watched the version of Justice League that came out like on HBO Max or whatever?
No.
The 4-hour version? I really want to watch it.
Yeah, the Snyder cut.
Yeah. I've never seen the original.
Yeah,
But-
I haven't seen any of the
haven't either.
DC movies really.
I kind of wanted to watch the Snyder cut of that movie.
It's probably not good
It might not be. Yeah, I don't know.
for
The only-
4 hours. Like, what the?
Yeah,
What
that
do you
is
think? Like, you can't just
extremely
keep putting
long.
stuff in to make it better. Like, I'm
That's
sure
true.
it made it better, but now it's 4 hours.
Yeah.
That's a huge time commitment too. Like,
It's
Yes.
crazy. It better be worth the commitment.
in my schedule.
Like, I would much rather watch a 2-hour movie that's okay than a 4-hour movie that's okay.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd much rather play a game for 4 hours. You know?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny how you're like willing to commit like 10 times the amount of time to a game, but not to a movie? Like, I definitely feel the same way about that too.
Yeah.
That
'Cause
just
you
might
kinda-
be us, though. But yeah,
You have to put down a game, though. A movie I want to watch in one sitting.
True.
that's true.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not expecting to finish a game in a single sitting. You're like expecting to commit a certain amount of time to it or whatever.
I'm really bad with strategy games like that. Like, if I play a strategy game, it's like you won't see me for a week.
Yeah, it just takes over your life. I'm bad like
Yeah.
that with strategy games and also with like crafting type games, you know?
Yeah.
Like every time Minecraft does an update and I'm like, oh, that looks cool, I should try it out. And then I play it for like 100 hours and then don't play it again for 3 years.
I don't know what it is. It's just like I don't intend to do that. It's just like time.
No, it just happens.
Yeah.
Some of my best gaming experiences were games where I'm like, I'm just going to check it out for a minute. Like, that was when I played Undertale, which was like my favorite game of that year. That's what happened. I was like, yeah, everybody's saying it's good. I'll just see what it looks like, see what the graphics are like, and then I'll shut it off. And then I played it for like 6 hours instead of shutting it off. And then beat it the next day. Like, I just couldn't stop playing it.
Kind of to go full circle. That's another reason why I like single player games. Is I with a multiplayer game I can really only play for a few hours, and I'm kind of done. But like with a story-based game, it's
Like sitting down with a good book or something. You can just like
yeah. I guess I would do the same with a book.
I mean, I guess I have done that with shows, like where I've sat down and binged a show, but I don't like doing it as much with shows.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I mean, games are like interactive, right? So you're more engaged, I think.
Yeah, whenever I watch a show and stuff, I kind of feel like I'm wasting time, but I don't get that feeling when I'm playing a game. Not that I actually am, but, you know, it's all entertainment, but it feels more like being lazy and wasting time because I'm not doing anything, but sitting there and watching it.
Maybe if you were like a director, you'd feel differently.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say, since we're like, working in game development, kind of
Definitely
makes
have a
sense that you
different-
get more from it.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
definitely have a different outlook on it for sure.
Yep. Whenever I play games, I call it research.
Well, that's why I was saying, like, so many people love, like, analyzing film and they make, like, whole, you know, video careers out of it and stuff, but,
Yeah.
you know, that's not me. I don't know anything about it, about film. I like watching their videos of them talking about all the stuff that they know about film, though.
I do the same. Like video essays.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, who won that? It didn't change color for me.
Yeah, me neither. Didn't zoom out or anything either.
Yeah, it seemed to end really quickly. Weird.
Apparently on my screen it said I passed first.
And we could play one more, I guess, and then
Sounds good.
call it.
And I'm going to sleep, I think. I'm so tired.
Sleep for
Yeah.
the whole weekend.
Oh my god.
Oh wait, it's not
Sure, it's
Friday.
only Thursday.
Oh my
Today,
god.
Thursday.
No.
You gotta get out of that mindset.
I know.
It's not Friday. Thankfully, we're not streaming on like Monday or something. That would be bad.
Oh, that would be the worst. Not that weekends actually matter to me, really, but it's all just the same shit.
Yeah.
Weekends should matter. You gotta take time off.
You definitely do. It's important.
What usually ends up happening for me is I'll work on the weekend and then have like a day or two during the week that I just don't really do much
Yeah.
a lot of the
It doesn't
time.
always have to be Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
But they start with S.
Yeah, that's the key.
I guess so. I used to take Mondays off last year. I'd work like Saturday and like Sunday, Monday would be weekend.
Yeah, I don't like working on Monday either.
I mean, but if you do that, Tuesday becomes your Monday, so I don't know. Oh no.
Oh no.
Dead. Oh no.
Do you know what what I'm just referenced, Ben?
Yes, I am.
I
am.
figured you would know. Oh no.
Oh no. Knuckles.
Knuckles, yeah.
Speaking of Knuckles, Sonic movie?
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
I'm excited for that too.
I love the first Sonic movie. Like, it's
Yeah.
not like an amazing movie or anything, but it was so great. Like,
It was fun.
so much better than I was expecting. Like,
Mhm.
you know, when somebody
I
says
think it was
they're
better than
making...
everyone expecting.
Yeah, definitely. When somebody said they were making a Sonic movie, I was like, fuck. Like, there's no way it could be good.
Do you remember when it
That's,
looked like nightmare fuel?
Yes, I
Yeah.
remember.
That
Like-
kind of goes against what we were talking about earlier in the stream, where it's like they don't have to appease the fans. But I feel like in this case it worked.
Yeah, there's definitely exceptions to the rule.
Yeah, yeah.
Unless it was all, like, just staged to begin with. But
I
don't know.
I don't think it was.
I don't think so either, but...
I think a healthy respect for the subject matter is what's important.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I feel
was
like
horrible.
that Sonic movie is your typical, like, some idiot at a studio who has no idea about Sonic was like, hey, let's make a Sonic movie where he comes to the real world. It's like every other movie that they make of that type, but the people that they actually hired to write it cared about it, so they made it good despite, like, the stupid premise of it. I don't know. Every other movie did that. There's, like, Smurfs movies like that, you know, Garfield movies like that, the Mario movie, the original Mario Bros. Movie, which is admittedly the best, but it's also like that. But yeah, super excited for the second movie. Also, Jim Carrey as Robotnik is just like the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
I
didn't think
assume
I'd like
he's
him.
great in that. Yeah.
He is,
I
yeah.
didn't think I'd like him as it, but he did a really good job.
Yeah, his version of Robotnik is really good.
The Mario movie will be interesting too. Hopefully they get that one right.
There's no trailer for that yet, right?
No,
There's just,
still
like,
not.
a cast.
We don't. Yeah, we just know the cast. I think.
I'm cautiously optimistic, but I don't know. Chris Pratt as Mario is real weird.
Yeah, whatever.
We'll see.
But hey, I said the same thing about what's his face for The Witcher.
That's true. I also thought that. Yeah.
Oh, really? He's perfect.
He is perfect. But when they
I-
first announced it, I had this picture of him as Superman in my head, and I was like, nah,
Yeah.
he can't be Geralt. You know.
And like I same, and like I was just like, it's gonna suck. But now I can't see him. I see him more as Geralt than I do as Superman.
Yeah, same.
So much so that I can't remember his name.
The voice and everything, like he's really good as Geralt.
Yeah.
Sure.
I've never actually seen a Superman movie.
That's the only one of those DC movies that I've seen is the Man of Steel one. I didn't see like the Batman versus Superman one or Suicide Squad or the Justice League ones. I skipped all of those.
Yeah. Same.
Anyways, guys, I think we're going to call it a day there for the stream. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week. If any of you guys are interested in checking out the game, like I said before, you can find a link to the Steam page below in our About section on Twitch, or just look up Rocket Rumble on Steam. There's a demo there you can try out, and the game is also available in early access. And yeah, we'll have some new updates coming up soon, and yeah, we'll keep you posted on everything coming up in the near future. All right, guys, have a good week.
See ya.
Care.
Bye.
All right.